Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Fabric Fridays with me, Mary Morningstar Johnson from Ruby and Violet Designs. On today's episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about one of Angela Walter's quilt patterns called Panel Play. And she showcased this on her Midnight Quilter YouTube channel, or well, it's Angela Walter's YouTube channel, and then she does a series called Midnight Quilter. And she sewed this up on her episode, and it looked really easy, and I loved a lot of the things that she had to say about it, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about my thoughts and some suggestions if you decide to get the pattern to do it yourself, and then also some of the things that I took away from her video that I thought were really relevant in where I'm at in sewing right now. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. So if you missed her episode and you didn't see where she talked about this specific pattern, she mentioned that there are people in our lives that are maybe not quilt worthy, and she didn't mean that in a negative way at all. She just meant, there are some people in our lives that we probably wouldn't spend weeks, hours, months making a quilt for, and it's nothing against those people. It's just that quilts take a lot of time, and they take a lot of energy, and they take a lot of thought and a lot of love, and sometimes that is why you can't find quilts to buy, because people put all of this time and energy and love into these quilts, and they want to keep them, or they want to give them to their kids or their grandkids. And I can totally relate, because I have quilts that have yet to be actually quilted, and I have spent so much time, so much energy actually piecing the quilts together. So with this video, when she showed this pattern and this panel, I guess I've always kind of had a little bit of a negative connotation about panels. I think, I don't really know what to do with a panel. It's already pre-printed, you quilt on top of it, but where is the extra effort? Where's the piecing? Where's the design? And yes, they're designed, but I mean, where's the design in putting the pieces in and choosing the colors and putting the borders on? And so what struck me with this pattern is that Angela actually designed it. It's called Kaleidoscope is the panel, and the coordinating fabric is also called Kaleidoscope. And the thought behind it is that it looks, when it's printed, it looks pieced, and when it's quilted, it actually looks pieced, because the way that she designed it, she put these shapes that you would see when you're piecing a quilt together, and then she quilted on top of it. But we don't always have those weeks, those months, those hours to quilt things for people that we feel are quilt worthy, but we just can't piece together a quilt for them. And so I thought that this was a great idea, not only for a gift idea for something like that, but also because there's not all the hours and months and days put into piecing, it's a great quilt to practice quilting on. So that's one thing that I have really been wanting to dive further into, is actually quilting on my machine. And so I thought this is a great panel quilt that I can practice quilting techniques on, and I don't have to feel so nervous because I've put so much time and energy into it. And so although it looks really complicated, and it's actually a beautiful, beautiful quilt, I was really excited to have sort of a practice real quilt to quilt. So the pattern actually comes with everything that you need for the quilt top. It comes with the panel, of course, and it's about 52.5 by 40, 41 and a half, I think, and then you start adding the borders on from there. So it actually ends up being a bigger quilt than that, but the panel itself is fairly decent size. And then it also comes with the fabric that you need to put the border together, because you do actually piece the border together. And so you can see this is with border 1 around it. And another reason that I really liked this is I really liked her border design on this, and I feel like the quilt part I'm pretty comfortable with or am familiar with lots of different ways to actually do the quilt. Borders, I have wanted to kind of expand my mental library with borders, different kinds of borders, not just sashing, not just strips. I want to actually put a border together that has some sort of design element to it. And so in this, I love how it's stripped and it's really, really easy, but it has a design element to it, something that kind of draws your eye out. And so that was another reason that I really wanted to get this pattern. And the solid fabrics, I believe they're Kona. I'm not 100%, but I think they're Kona cotton. They feel like Kona cotton. And then the kaleidoscope fabric is beautiful in and of itself. The colors, all the different blues in it, just are really, really, really eye-catching. In the kaleidoscope fabric is also the backing. So I went ahead and I bought the backing separate, and then I also bought separately the thread that the thread colors that she suggested. I don't know if you have seen the Angela Walters live where she talks about all different kinds of thread, but if you're a quilter or sewer, I definitely recommend watching it. I know a little bit about thread, but it was really eye-opening when I listened to that, and she explained, you know, the difference between a polyester thread, a cotton thread, what is best to quilt with, what's best to quilt with on a long arm machine or a domestic machine. I guess I have thought about it, but I have never really thought about it. And so I'm really excited because this is a thread that she recommends. It's called Glide. She also really recommends Aurifil thread, which I love Aurifil thread. But she said, you know, you can quilt with silk thread, you can quilt with cotton thread, but polyester thread, it's a little bit less expensive and it's every bit as good and every bit as durable. So, I mean, if cost is no concern to you, that's great. I mean, sew with silk thread. But if you're looking to kind of, you know, have some sort of cost management, I think polyester thread is just as good as any. So, and it really does depend on what it is you're sewing. If you're quilting the top of a quilt, this polyester thread is going to be as good as anything. So I'm excited to try this specific kind, just kind of see how I like it. So I'll try to report back on that. So I'm going to show you guys, I have all but one side of this border done. I tried really hard to finish sewing on that last border this morning, and I didn't get it done. My oldest starts Christmas break today. She gets picked up early, and so I've been trying to rush around and do some things with having a quiet household. But anyway, I'm excited to show you guys what this looks like because it's looking so good, and probably can't get it all in the frame, but you can kind of see how that's shaping up, and you can see, you know, the panel design is going to be great for practicing quilting, because another thing about it is that you have the lines there and not the seams. So if you're just starting out like me, trying to get more familiar with quilting on your machine and kind of learning how to I have talked about Angela Walters rulers. I'm really trying to learn how to use those to help more efficiently and more effectively create the quilting designs on my machine. I think that this is just such a smart way to go because you still get that beautiful, looks, you know, kind of complicated effect on the quilt, but it gives you a nice canvas to try out quilting on your machine. And another thing that Angela said in this recent live video that she did, she kind of went through and she was talking about her Midnight Quilter show, and she was talking or answering different questions that viewers had asked her, and she said, you know, just start. I mean, if you know, don't be nervous or hesitant. She teaches a lot of long arm classes, and she said you have to start and you have to loosen up and you just have to let yourself try. And Karen Brown, I watched a video recently with her where she talks about making mistakes, and you know, we're all going to make mistakes. We're not a machine, and that's part of what people love about quilts is they're usually quilted by people, and they aren't perfect. They aren't machine made. They're going to have little intricacies and little mistakes in them, and that's part of what makes them special, I think. And so learning to sort of embrace that and not, I have to tell myself it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, just try it, just start it, just try to get it done. And I think that when I do finally get a big quilt done, because I've done little things, it's going to be so much to look at and so much sewing that you're not going to be able to just pinpoint the little mistakes in it. And so anyway, that's what I keep telling myself, and I'm hopeful that maybe Santa can bring me a little bit of time over the Christmas holiday here that I can sit down and start sewing this, because I have my borders done. I just have to sew them on, and then I have the backing piece and I have the batting, and so I'm really going to try hard to get this accomplished. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me today, and please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I am hoping to have some exciting things coming up in this new year. I have some ideas and some different things that I'm going to be trying on my show, and so please subscribe so that you can stay up to date and know what's going on, and I can keep in contact with you. And feel free to comment. Hit the bell to get notifications about my channel, and I wish you guys well into this week before Christmas, and I am going to post a video on Christmas. I probably will not be filming it on Christmas, so it'll be pre-done, but I will have an episode, so if you're full from your Christmas meal and you want to check out my video, it will be uploaded on Friday next week. So Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a great week and happy quilting. Bye.